Namaste. Good evening. Welcome back. So we will continue. We reviewed up to Shloka 13 in our previous session. So we will uh, set the context and we will pick up the thread from Shloka 14. We'll try to cover 3 shlokas today. So we have been talking about chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita, known as Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti Yoga means glories of Ishvara. So this chapter, the first 3 shlokas, without being asked, Krishna offered to teach because he has seen good engagement from Arjuna. When the student get engaged properly and ask good questions and actively participate in that teaching process, that always inspires the teacher. Just like that, Krishna got inspired and he said, I'm going to teach you further out of love for you, for your wellness. And I'm going to repeat a few things, but that is needed in the teachings of the Vedanta. And this teaching, the speciality of the teaching, it is free you from all the sufferings. And then Krishna said, in the second topic, he started giving an overview of the glory of the Ishvara. In brief, he said, everything in the universe, the external world, not just the external world, the internal world also is a manifestation of every thought you entertain, every emotions in your mind, any creativity comes from you. Everything is Ishvara's glory. Everything externally, the sun and the moon and the stars, the plant, animal, and human, everything you see is a manifestation of Ishvara. Not just like that, not just the external world. Even the internal world is also a manifestation of Ishvara. And then he said, every sages, nobody knows my glories because I am the beginning than anybody else. And all the teaching tradition comes from me. So to enumerate this, symbolically, he said, in the spiritual world, there are 2 types of teaching, and a balance of that is ideally required for one in the spiritual path. One is known as Pravritti Lakshana, because you have to engage in the world outside, do what needs to be done, the path of karma, and that is propagated through the Sapta Rishis. And then the path of Nivruti, that is withdrawing, looking deep within, that is taught or propagated through the Sanat Kumaras. So that is also me. And then he also said, all the Manus, the first human being in every yuga, that is also me. So all that points discussed. And then he said, moved the topic into the Virat Bhakti. Virat Bhakti means everything you see, like you have to elevate yourself from the Eka Rupa Bhakti. Eka Rupa Bhakti means you see Ishvara as confined to a temple or an idol, or in a particular form or a particular shape, somewhere in the heaven. From that state, you need to elevate yourself into Virat Rupa, because the whole universe is my glories. So whatever you see in this universe is my glory. Whenever you see somebody singing nicely, you have to see my glory. Whenever you see something miraculous in the world, you have to see my glory. So Krishna, and that person, he will develop something called Avikampena Yogena, your connection with me, because the bhakti that is born out of that knowledge. Because when you see the manifestations in the universe, you cannot but have some reverence to that intelligent order which keeps all these things intact and beautiful, right? It is so beautifully orchestrated. It is so beautifully designed. It is so beautifully governed that you will develop some bhakti. And once you develop that bhakti, I will bless you. I will give you the knowledge and take you to the highest. This was the promise. Please keep this flow in your mind so that these teachings will be clear to you. So once Krishna said that, Arjuna was excited. He said, I am convinced. And he started asking, meaning he's trying to request a little more elaboration of whatever we said earlier. So we saw two shlokas last week. We will have a quick refreshment of that shloka, and then we can jump into the new topics, the three shlokas we are planning to do today.
अर्जुन उवाच परं ब्रह्म परं धाम पवित्रं परमं भवान् पुरुषं शाश्वतं दिव्यम् आदिदेवमजं विभुम् आहुस्त्वां ऋषयः सर्वे देवर्षिर्नारदस्तथा असितो देवलो व्यासः स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे.
Arjuna said, I am now convinced that you are not just an ordinary friend of mine. He started that reverence for Krishna. He said, you are the supreme Brahman. You are the ultimate order of the universe. You are the most sacred, pavitranam pavitram, purest of the purest. You are the eternal divine Purusha out of the whole Purusha. Purusha means the consciousness. You are the supreme consciousness. And you are the primordial force in the universe. Everything else came from you. And you are unborn. And you are all pervading in the universe. All the sages, including like Vyasa, Narada, Asita, Devala, all these people speak of you as much. And now, meaning I hear that from all the sages, whatever they wrote, etc. And now I heard from your own mouth. So he just acknowledged his faith, his understanding of that divinity of that Krishna. So that is where that bhakti comes in. So here the bhakti comes out of that knowledge, not a blind bhakti. Because what is the problem with the blind bhakti? Today I might be a devotee, but tomorrow when I get a setback, it is gone. Why? Because I'm not clear. I'm not 100% certain about what I'm believing in. When I have suspicion in my understanding, anything can shake my faith. But what Krishna is saying is that even if in the worst of the worst situation, do you have any doubt that 2 plus 2 equal to 4? Absolutely not. So when the bhakti comes out of the knowledge, that bhakti is the supreme bhakti. And Arjuna is demonstrating that. So let's continue. So let's move to the next shloka, which is shloka 14. So, sorry, shloka. Sorry, this is 14. Sorry. Oh, I forgot to copy one shloka, but let me play it for you. Apologies, I think I overwrote it.
सर्वमेतद्वृतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव न हि ते भगवन् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देवान दानवाः.
Okay, I made a mistake. I didn't copy one shloka, but I will explain. So he say, Sarvam etat ritam. He say, I hold as true all that you have said so far. So you have said so many things to me from chapter 2 to now. I am 100% convinced that whatever you taught me is true. So Arjuna reaffirming that he is now convinced, because up until now he was asking a lot of questions. How is this possible? This is confusing to me. Jayasi chet karmanaste maya buddhir janardana tat kim karmani khore mam niyojayasi keshava. Then he say vyamishrenena vakyena buddhim mohayat sivame. Your words confuses me, etc. was the words he has been using earlier. Now he is saying that I hold as true all what you have said. Sarvam etat ritam. Manye. Manya means I accept. Sarvam means everything. Etat, this, Ritam means truth. So I accept everything you said. O Keshava. And then he say, uh, verily nahite Bhagavan. So even neither the gods nor the demons, right? So he say, nobody in this Danava, right? Nobody in this universe, neither the Devas nor the Asuras don't know your manifestations completely. Nobody knows about you. I accept that completely. This is the literal meaning of the shloka. Let's go a little bit deeper into the. So, first of all, Arjuna accepted the truth. Whatever Krishna was telling so far, he was not, meaning he was clearing his doubt. And at this point of time of the Gita, chapter 10, he affirms that he accepts all Krishna's enumerated teachings as, meaning whatever teaching he has given as truth. And he said he believes in his words, Krishna's words are valid. He is believing that these words are valid and reliable completely. So he is 100% convinced. So Arjuna's conviction and acceptance of the truth is one aspect we need to enumerate. And then he said, neither the Devas nor the Asuras don't know you completely. So the whole idea is that Krishna said, only Ishvara knows him properly. Nobody else can understand. So in other words, the human intellect or the intellect of the exalted beings such as divine beings such as Devas, they also have limitation. And he said that your glories, it is better that you yourself enumerate so that there is no distortion, there is no misinterpretation. So Arjuna affirms, tells that Ishvara is the sole source of truth. Everything else is secondary. So I would like to hear from you more about your glory. That is what he is coming to, but he just setting the stage. First thing is that he said, I believe and accept everything you said because of the logic, because of the sequence of arguments. And now he said that you are the best person to reveal this truth because nobody else know you completely. So when somebody doesn't know a partially, whatever information they teach is also partial. And the third thing is that this idea that the limitation of all the being is illustrated in the Kenopanishad. So if you remember, we talked about that story, right? The Agni going and testing an Yaksha, and Yaksha said, okay, this is the blade of grass. Can you burn? Agni could not burn it. The wind could not throw it off. And Indra could not do anything because they failed to understand the Yaksha. Yaksha was Ishvara. So even the Devas fails to understand Ishvara. With their advanced intellect, with their elevated skill, they fail to understand. So it's Arjuna's argument is that, so you better elaborate all your glories so that it will be very much clear to you. And the third point we need to highlight in this shloka is the limitation of the human intelligence. The human intelligence is fantastic thing, but it cannot know everything because the realm of the intellect is limited within the time, space, and it is unable to grasp this eternal truth. As a result, whatever you are trying to understand intellectually, there is limitation. So what is the best means to gain that highest spiritual knowledge? Obviously, you need your intellect to understand it, but surrender to Ishvara and scriptures as the true knowledge of source. So there was what happened in that story in the Kenopanishad. They understood their limitation and surrendered to Ishvara. So represented by Uma Devi, right? And then they got the knowledge. Arjuna recognized Ishvara is the only source of truth. And Ishvara is the only source which has the complete truth. And so he wanted to surrender to that Ishvara, Krishna. So this is the meaning. You can see that slowly we are coming to the bhakti. So this is the essence of this shloka. Shloka 14. So now let's go to Shloka 15. So let's play Shloka 15.
स्वयमेवात्मनात्मानम् वेत्थत्वं पुरुषोत्तम भूतभावनभूतेश देवदेव जगत्पते.
This is a beautiful shloka. He says it's very nicely put together, right? So he say Purushottama, O Purushottama, O Supreme Purusha, the ultimate consciousness, Krishna. And then he gives a few glory of that Ishvara. He tells, he tells, you are the creator of all being, right? He say, then he say, like, then the second thing he is saying is, you are the sustainer of all being. You are the creator of all being. You are the sustainer of all being and the Lord of all the gods, all the devas, right? He said, Deva Deva. So you are the Deva of the God, Deva of all the devas. And then he say, Bhuta Bhavana. You are the protector of all universe, right? And then he say, Bhutesha, like you, meaning you are the controller of the whole universe. And then he say, you only know yourself completely. Nobody else knows. This is the essence. Arjuna was just praising Krishna. It is not a conventional praising, right? So what happens is Arjuna uses relevant name, right? You can see there is a lot of name he has used. Arjuna increases the relevant names he uses for Ishvara in this shloka. Each of these names reflects a unique divine glory. So he said, O Keshava. Keshava means, or earlier he addressed Krishna as Keshava. Keshava means it is the name of the Krishna, right? So Keshava, have you ever learned the meaning of the word Keshava? There are multiple meanings. The one meaning is, meaning it is there in the Vishnu Sahasranama. The first and foremost meaning is Kesham. Kesham means hair. The one who has locked hairs, lot of hair, locked hair. That is a characteristics of Krishna. So that is Keshava. Second meaning of the Keshava is the one who destroyed the demon Keshi. Right? So that is Keshava. And the third name is the most interesting name. Ka represents Brahmaji. A represents Vishnu. And Isha represents Keshava. So Keshava means one in whom the creative potential, sustaining potential, and dissolution potential manifests together. He is the Supreme Lord. That is also Keshava. That is the most appropriate meaning here. The one whom, the one intelligent order of the universe, in him you can see the creative potential, the sustaining potential, and the one who is capable of pulling everything back unto him. So that is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. In one, he who is the manifestation, who manifests as Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, that is Keshava. That is the third meaning. So these are the three meanings given by Shankaracharya for the word Keshava. So we covered that. And then let's see what else. What are all the other names he uses to call Krishna? Then he said Bhagavan earlier. So Bhagavan means the one who has Bhaga, right? We talked about that many times. Aishwaryam, Viryam, Yashas, Shri. Like that, there are 6 qualities. Lord, for example, Aishwaryam means control over. Yes, I do have control over my computer right now. I do have control over what I speak right now, but I do not have control over everything in the universe. So he or she who has complete control over everything else in the universe, that is Bhagavan. Shri, everybody has a little bit of wealth, but they do not have that infinite source of wealth. The one who has wealth in the absolute form, Viryam, like the one who can, the vigor or that strength in that absolute form. So that is Bhagavan. He is the intelligent order of the universe. That is the nature of the Bhagavan. So that is another name used in these shlokas. And the next shloka is Bhutesha. Bhutesha is another name. It is the Bhutesha means it is the Lord of all being, right? It represents Ishvara not only as the creator, but also as the sustainer and the manager of the creation. The word Bhutesha here highlights the ability to maintain and the whole creation, right? It is not easy to maintain that intelligent order which makes everything moving. It appears to be very simple, but meaning always refer to that same example I always quote. Look at the galaxy. Look at the galaxy. What exactly holding all these heavenly bodies together? You can say gravity, etc., but or the force of attraction and repulsion, everything. But have you ever seen, right? Ever thought for a second? Look at the angular momentum of the Earth. If that angular momentum is slightly high, what happens? The Earth is gone out of the orbit. It will go and falls. Remember, this is happening not just one a certain period of time. It is happening for millions of years. Never ever that angular momentum changed little bit. Any system we create, remember, without any maintenance, without any fixing, this is happening. And if the angular momentum is slightly low, what is going to happen? It will go into the sun. And look at the way the whole universe is designed. From the sun, the energy comes in. In the 15th chapter, we see that. The sunlight, as sunlight, I give you the energy, Krishna says. As plant, I absorb that energy. Right? And as food, you consume that energy. As a digestive system, I break that energy and give it to you to function. So if we take all this for granted. You realize this only when you get sick. See, they say, right, you don't even realize that you have eyes unless there is an eye disease. You don't even realize you have ear. Everything is taken for granted. Everything is designed to the best. You cannot, if you sit and think about this glory of Ishvara, you cannot but have reference to that intelligent order of the universe. So that aspect is what is highlighted by Arjuna called Bhutesha. It is the ability to control and maintain the universe without beautifully balancing everything. And that requires omnipotence and omniscience. And that he who has that is Ishvara. And then the term he uses is Bhuta Bhavana. Bhuta Bhavana. All these are named in the Vishnu Sahasranama also. Those who chant Vishnu Sahasranama, you may come across all these names. Bhutesha, Bhuta Bhavana, Bhutatma, Paramatma, all these things comes in. Bhuta Bhavana means creator of all being. So here, earlier we saw Ishvara as the sustainer with the Bhutesha. Here the Bhuta Bhavana means describes Ishvara as the origin and source of all being in the universe. Everything in the universe emerges from the consciousness and dissolve back into it. So that is how Ishvara is the one. Then Purushottama. Purushottama means like the ultimate consciousness or the absolute reality, which is beyond Kshara and Akshara. That is the definition. The one who is beyond Kshara and Akshara. Kshara means whatever that is manifested. You see, you can touch and feel. Akshara means whatever that is remaining in the unmanifested form. So the differentiated matter or energy and the undifferentiated matter or the energy. The one who is behind this differentiated universe and the undifferentiated universe, that is the Purushottama, and that is the Supreme Purusha. It symbolically it represents the consciousness distinct from all the physical and subtle matter and energy. This is what it is. Look at that definition. This is so clear. So Purushottama, Bhuta Bhavana, Bhudesha. So that is the whole meaning. That is how Arjuna calls Krishna. And then he say, like, controller and protector of the universe. He uses the term Deva Deva. Deva Deva means it indicates Ishvara's like primordial, like it is beyond any causes. That is the primordial cause, uncaused cause. Swami Chinmayananda used to say. So every deities or every form of Devata, symbolically what happened, the whole, how the rain functions, we say that it is Indra. How the fire functions, it is Agni. So symbolically, the Vedic system has given each of these phenomenal forces or the natural forces, they were associated with a Atishtana Devata. And all these Devata, their order works because of that Supreme Devata, Ishvara. So that is why he is known as Deva Deva. And then Jagat Pate, Jagat Pate. Jagat means the whole universe. Pate means protector. The one who protects and the entire universe, the dharma, the order of the universe, that is Ishvara. So Jagat Pade, Deva Deva, then he was called Bhutesha, Bhuta Bhavana, and Purushottama. These are the names used in this shloka. So then he say, Swayam Atmana Atmavan. Because so he is Bhutesha, he is Bhuta Bhavana, he is Jagatpate, he is Deva Deva, he is Purushottama. So who knows him? Nobody knows him. So Arjuna acknowledges that Ishvara alone can fully comprehend his divine essence without the need for a guru. Ishvara don't need. So Swayam Atmana Atmanam. Swayam means by himself. He knows by himself. Everybody else needs a guru or scripture. So Ishvara doesn't need a guru or scripture to know himself or herself. But Ishvara's knowledge is intrinsic and self-sustaining. Like that is the omniscience. So this is what Arjuna was saying. So the shloka is so beautiful. The creator of all beings, sustainer of all beings, Ishvara of all deities, and the protector of the universe. You alone know yourself. Nobody else knows. Swayam Atmana Atmavan. This is the beautiful shloka. Arjuna start understanding the dynamics, so he just acknowledging it. So we'll see one more shloka, which is shloka 16, before we wind up. Shloka 16.
वक्तुमर्हस्य शेषेण दिव्या ह्यात्मविभूतयः याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमां स्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठति.
So he tells, please tell me completely, Asheshana. Asheshana means completely, fully. That divine glories, Atma Vibhutaya. So please tell me all your glories, because your glories is infinite. Only you can know. Even Devas and Asuras don't know your glory. Only you can understand your glory. So please tell me the whole glories through which you pervade and sustain this universe. Because Ishvara's glories are the glories by which this whole universe is created, sustained, and maintained. So can you please tell me those glories through which you pervade and sustain this entire universe? So in other words, it's a request to unveil your glories further. Whatever you give is only high level. Can you give me the details? That is what the ask is. So let's see a little bit more. Let's deep dive a little bit into this shloka. So the first point we wanted to understand here is, so in the earlier shloka, it was a praise, right? So Arjuna was praising Ishvara, right? He said, you only know your glory, you are the Purushottama, you are the Adideva, you are the Bhuta Bhavana, you are Bhutatma, all that point said. Now Arjuna shifts from glorifying Ishvara to humbly requesting a favor. He is now asking something. Earlier he was praising, right? Praising means not just for anything, any particular demand or anything like that. So he uses the word arhasi. Actually, that is a respectful way of asking. So he is asking. So what happens is he shifted his talk from like up until now, what he was doing something called namakam means namaskaram, or the glory, praise, to chamakam is a technical term. Those who studied Vedas, you know that in Rudram there is a portion called chamakam. So there you are asking something to Ishvara in a very polite manner. So in this shloka, Arjuna shifts from namakam to chamakam. That is what you see here. So what exactly it is? So in a very respectful way, he is asking. And what is that request? It is not for any material thing. He said, Atma Vibhutaya. So he was requesting to reveal the divine glories of Ishvara. What are the divine glories of Ishvara? Arjuna asked Ishvara, Krishna, to reveal his divine or the extraordinary glories, Divya Vibhuti, Atma Vibhuti, which are Divya. Specifically, those who beyond the ordinary experiences, right? Why? So why the divine glories Arjuna was highlighting? Because usually, right, everything in the universe is Ishvara's glory. Everyday functions like walking, seeing, all are miracle by themselves. But usually what happens, they often get unrecognized because they are taken for granted. So that is why Arjuna wanted to instead of the Laukikya Vibhuti, he wanted to highlight the divine Divya Vibhuti. So if I say like, okay, your breathing is because of Ishvara, it is taken for granted. So instead of that, something extraordinary in the universe is pointed out so that we can easily meditate upon that and we can easily recognize that. So the idea is focus on this Divya Vibhuti. Divya Vibhuti, Arjuna seeks knowledge of Ishvara's Divya Vibhuti, divine glories, remarkable, inspiring manifestations that demonstrates the divine presence in the universe. So everything there is divine presence, but he wanted to see that inspiring manifestations of that divine glory. So this purpose of the request is to recognize Ishvara's presence in the daily life. With this, I can understand Ishvara's presence in the daily life, because Ishvara pervades and sustains the entire universe, and by looking at these glories, I can do that. And the second one is, it is a powerful means of meditation, meditating upon Ishvara. So the Arjuna's request is a purpose. Purpose is what? Deepen the understanding of Ishvara, and that is expressed in the next shloka. So he will continue to discuss a little bit further why he wanted to understand the glory, and from there Krishna will go and starts giving the glory. So essentially today we saw 3 shlokas. In the first shloka we saw that Arjuna reaffirms his faith and at least acknowledge that I understand now. I understand, I accept and admit everything you said. And I also admit that only you can know your glories. Nobody else can comprehend it. So therefore, you are the best person to teach it. And then from that, he will just say that Your glories are limitless. You are the Purushottama, you are the sustainer of the universe, you are the creator of the universe, and you are Deva Deva, you are the beyond any Devas, and you are the Jagatpate, you are the Lord of the universe. So that he praises Krishna from the understanding, and then finally he jumps into, from Namakam, he shifts to Chamakam and make a humble request to highlight his divine, little bit more detail, his divine glories, so that I can understand you better. I can easily recognize you. Here, meaning Shankaracharya in his commentary here tells that everything is Ishvara. Whenever you see sunlight, it is Ishvara. But Arjuna is requesting Krishna to highlight the divine glories because easily recognizable. So from next week, he will highlight a couple of shlokas, and after that, we will start that glory. Okay, so with that, we can conclude today what we wanted to cover.